Hey everyone. So our topic for today is about rules of netiquette. So including the online security, safety and ethics, internet threats, protecting reputations online, copyright, and contextualized online search and research skills. So one of the most important things that we need to consider, of course, is on how we'll be able to deal with different actions in online activities. So again, this will be the content of lesson 2. So this will be the objective of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, the students should be able to consider one's and others' safety when sharing information using the internet, consider one's and others' reputation when using the internet, determine and avoid the dangers of the internet, be responsible in the use of social networking sites, and browse the internet efficiently and properly through proper referencing. So, how many hours do you spend on the internet per day? Can you live without the internet for a week? How many aspects of your life depend on the internet? And how many times you have complained about your internet connection speed? As teenagers, you are all exposed to many things powered by the internet, whether it is socializing, playing games, reading sports news, shopping, and others. The internet has given you one of the most powerful tools that your parents during their teenage years did not have. Because of this, do you think that it is also important to wield this powerful tool properly? Without proper training, a swordman can easily injure himself when wielding a sword. The same could be said for you whenever you use the internet. Online safety and security. The internet truly is a powerful tool. It can be used to promote your business, gain new friends, and stay in touch with the old ones. It is also a source of entertainment through games, online communities, and everything in between. But like most things in this world, there is always the other side of the coin. The internet is one of the most dangerous places, especially if you do not know what you are doing with it. But there is no need to worry. It is never that late. Hopefully, by the end of this lesson, you are able to consider how you go about your use of the internet. Let us go back to the how safe are you? Or let us visit each item and see how risky is it to share them. First name. There is still a risk in sharing your first name. Chances are a hacker already knows plenty of stuff about you even if you only give out your first name. You cannot just walk in a room and start introducing yourself to everyone. You do not know whom you can come across with. Last name. If sharing your first name is a small risk, having both your first and last is a more risky. You will be vulnerable to being searched for using search engines, which include image search. Matching a name with a face can lead to several cybercrimes like identity theft. Middle name. Sharing just your middle name is probably not the most risky of this shared information, but sharing your entire full name would be. Current and previous school. Most people who steal identities study their subject. They can use this information for verification purposes. Your cell phone. Your cell phone number should never be posted over the internet. The internet is a public place. It is the same as posting your number on a billboard. Who your mother and father are. Risky, yet not as risky as posting their full names, especially your mother's maiden name. In fact, If you have already encountered many websites that require your mother's maiden name as an answer to a secret question whenever you lose your password, who your siblings are. This is a huge risk, especially if you have younger siblings. Strangers may pretend or use their identity to dupe you. Your address. Hopefully you answered no to this one. Giving the internet your number is one thing. Giving them your address is a whole other level. It would be much easier for criminals to find you. Your home phone number. This shared information is more risky than sharing your personal phone number. Scams usually use this information to deceive you, one of which is when a stranger pretends to know your parents or pretends to be you. Your birthday. Letting people know your birthday is probably a must if you want to get as many gifts as possible. But having it in your profile makes you vulnerable to identity theft. The internet is defined as the information superhighway. This means that anyone has access to this highway, can place information, and can grab the information. Any information, even things that you have set privately, can be accessed one way or another. This is why social networking sites like Facebook continue to improve their security features. The threat of cybercrime is very real. While you may not experience the threat now, whatever information we shared today could affect our future. Tips to stay safe online. The internet is a public place and it is up to you to protect yourself. Here are some tips to help you stay safe when using the internet. Be mindful of what you share online and what site you share it to. Do not just accept terms and conditions, read it. Check out the privacy policy page of a website to learn how the website handles the information you share. Know the security features of the social networking site you use. By keeping your profile private, search engines will not be able to scan your profile. Do not share your password with anyone. Avoid logging in to public networks or Wi-Fi. Browsing in incognito or private mode, a feature of the browser, will not protect you from hackers. Do not talk to strangers, whether online or face-to-face. Never post anything about a future vacation. It is similar to posting, "Rob my house at this date." Add friends you know in real life. Avoid visiting untrusted websites. Install and update an antivirus software on your computer. Use only one antivirus software to avoid conflicts. If you have a Wi-Fi or wireless fidelity at home, make it a private network by adding a password. Avoid downloading anything from untrusted website. You are most vulnerable in peer-to-peer downloads as the download is most likely not monitored by the site owner. Buy the software, do not use pirated ones. And do not reply or click links from suspicious emails. Most people would dispute that there is no such thing as private over the internet, and they may be right. There are hackers who can find a black door even if your profile is already set to private. You have no control of whoever is looking at your friend's screen whenever they open your profile or chat with you, and you have no control over people getting access to your friends' accounts and seeing your private stuff. Internet threats. Here are some of the threats you should be aware of when using the internet. Malware stands for malicious software. Spam, unwanted email, mostly from bots or advertisers. It can be used to send malware. Phishing, Its goal is to acquire sensitive personal information like password and credit card details. To give you a much detailed information about internet threats, we'll give you an example of a malware. We have virus, worm, Trojan horse, spyware, and adware. Now, virus is a malicious program designed to replicate itself and transfer from one computer to another, either through the internet and local networks or data storage like flash drive and CDs. Number 2, worm, a malicious program that transfers from one computer to another by any type of means. Often, it uses a computer network to spread itself. For example, the I love you worm or love bug worm created by a Filipino students. Letter C, Trojan or Trojan Horse, a malicious program that is disguised as a useful program but once downloaded or installed leaves your PC unprotected and allows hacker to get your information. We have also rogue security software or rogue security software. Tricks the user into posing that it is a security software. It asks the user to pay to improve his or her security, but in reality, they are not protected at all. Letter D is spyware, a program that runs in the background without you knowing it, thus called spy. It has the ability to monitor what you are currently doing in typing through keylogging. The keyloggers used to record the keystroke done by the users. This is done to steal their password or any other sensitive information. It can record email, messages, or any information you type using your keyboard. Letter E, adware, a program designed to send you advertisements, mostly as pop-ups. Spyware, unwanted email mostly from bots or advertisers. It can be used to send malware. Phishing, its goal is to acquire sensitive personal information like password and credit card details. This is done by sending you an email that will direct the user to visit a website and be asked to update his or her username, password, credit card, or personal information. Farming, a more complicated way of wishing or phishing where it exploit the DNS or domain name service system. Its goal is to acquire sensitive personal information like password and credit card details. Protecting reputations online. In the past, doing something embarrassing was not much of a big deal. It happened, people would laugh at it, and they would move on. Nowadays, embarrassing moments are captured using any device you could imagine. What is worse is that people can easily upload it to the internet where it can be stored forever. This could impact not only your reputation but also the people around you. What is worse is that people tend to ignore this fact and suffer from it later in their life. Once you post something over the internet, search engines keep them in their archives for search results. This makes anything you post to last forever even if you delete it in your page. Something you and your friends find funny today may be something that could harm someone's reputations later. Before hiring, companies do a background check on the applicant. And the easiest way to check your background is to visit pages that are related to you. Thus, if they find disreputable information about you, it may harm your reputation even if this information has been discarded. Always bear in mind, think before you click. Before you post something on the web, ask this question to yourself. Would you want your parents or grandparents to see it? Would you want your future boss to see it? Once you post something on the web, you have no control of who sees your post. Number 2, your friends depend on you to protect their reputation online. Talk to your friends about this serious responsibility. Number 3, set your post to private. In this way, search engines will not be able to scan that post. Number 4, avoid using names. Names are easy for search engines to scan. Number 5, if you feel that a post can affect you or others' reputation, ask the one who posted it to pull it down or report it as inappropriate. Copyright infringement. It is actually colloquially referred to as privacy or piracy. It is the use of works protected by copyright law without permission for a usage where such permission is required, thereby infringing certain exclusive rights granted to the copyright holder, such as the right to reproduce, distribute, display, or perform the protected work, or to make derivative works. The copyright holder is typically the work's creator or a publisher or other business to whom copyright has been assigned. Copyright holders routinely invoke legal and technological measures to prevent and penalize copyright infringement. This information is getting from Wikipedia. Tips to avoid copyright infringement. Number 1, understand. Copyright protects literary works, photographs, paintings, drawings, films, music, and lyrics, choreography, and sculptures, but it generally does not protect underlying ideas in facts. This means that you can express something using your own words, but you should give credit to the source. Be responsible. Even if a material does not say that it is copyrighted, it is not a valid defense against copyright. Be responsible enough to know if something has a copyright. Be creative. Ask yourself whether what you are making is something that came from you or something made from somebody else's creativity. It is important to add your own creative genius in everything that will be credited to you. Know the law. There are some limitations to copyright laws. For instance, in the Philippines, copyrights only last a lifetime of the author plus 50 years. There are also provisions for fair use, which mean that an intellectual property may be used without a consent as long as it is used in commentaries, criticism, search engines, parodies, news reports, research, library archiving, teaching, and education. If you have doubts that you are doing thus that fall under the policy of fair use, seek permission first. As WikiHow mentioned that another misconception is that fan fiction is not copyright infringement. In reality, it is, and some copyright holders ignore them, but they can opt to use their rights. Online research. Have you ever searched the internet for certain information where the search engine returned a different result? The information that we need is more likely already in the internet. It is just a matter of how to look for it and how to use information from the most credible source. Here are some tips in conducting online research or online search. Have a question in mind. Focus on a question you want answered. If it is a series of questions, start with one. Never search everything on 1 go. Narrow it down. Search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo use several filters to determine the most appropriate result for you. These search engines use your previous search history and your geographical location and send you the results which is the most related to you. Try to search weather, and most search engines would return the weather conditions of where you are. But if all of these filters fail, you should remember to narrow down what you are searching for. For example, if you were to look for Tom Sawyer or Sawyer, the animation series, you would better use the keywords Tom Sawyer animation rather than just Tom Sawyer. Another example is if you were to look for science research experiments, it would be better to include what branch of science it is or what type of study it is. Advanced research. The best way to filter information you get from search engines is by using the advanced research. This will allow you to filter out information you do not need. In Google, simply search a word like you would normally do. Then click the advanced search option on the option button located at the upper right corner of the page. In Microsoft Search Engine, Bing, you can use certain keywords and symbols for use in advance, like asterisk, double quotation, open and close parenthesis, and symbol, not or symbol. Look for credible source. Some wikis, though filled with outdated information, are not a credible source. This is due to the fact that anyone can edit its content. When using wikis, check out the link of the cited text indicated by superscript number to be navigated to the footnote where the list of sources is located. Click the source of the information and see if it is credible. The more credible sources are scientific journals, established news and magazine websites, online encyclopedia, and scholarly databases. You can also check the URL of a website. If it ends with .org, .gov, and .edu, a website that ends with .com is intended to be a commercial website and may be slanted to promoting a product or service. You should consider the intent of the information on the web page. In most cases, .edu websites are best for research as government and organization websites may have a tendency to make information favorable for them. Unfortunately, not all websites follow the standards in domain name conventions. Some sites using the suffix like .com loosely, some sites are not credible even though they use a .edu suffix. Another tip to validate if the information is correct is to have multiple sources of information. Having 2 or more websites will tell you whether the information is reliable or not. Give credit. If you are going to use the information from a source for educational purposes, give credit to the original author of the page or information. To properly cite references, you may use the format, name of the person or organization, or the author of the information, title of the homepage in italics, title is shown in the title bar but it's sometimes missing or unrelated, then the URL, then last seen. So this will be an example of a rules in the online classroom. So as a student, sign in on time, find some quiet place to study, always listen, look at the screen, and raise your hand if you have some questions. So basic rules and instruction, always mute your microphone if you are not speaking. Questions, comments, and concern, all questions and comments shall be directed to the Q&A or comment section. Then, questions not addressed during the discussion will be collated and answers right after teachers or professor discussions. So this will be the references. Innovative Training Works Incorporated and Rex Bookstore Incorporated, Empowerment Technologies in 2017. Abante M 2019 ICT Empowerment MS Office Application, Unlimited Books Incorporated. Abante M 2010 Basic Office Application and Bill Publishing Incorporated. So, thank you very much. You're done with lesson 2. Enjoy the rest of the semester. God bless everyone.